Joining me today is Joe Brikman out of Miami, Florida. Out of an audience of more than 50,000 agents nationwide, Joe has been selected to represent Broker Agent Advisor as this month's Broker Agent of the Month for the entire state of Florida. And Joe, I've enjoyed the process of getting to know you. It's a treat to be here and celebrate you for your contribution to this industry. I really am looking forward to the people that see this getting a chance to get to know you a little bit. I want to say congratulations on the recognition and thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. I really didn't see this coming, and getting the email and y'all reaching out to me, letting me know, that I've been nominated is super humbling, and I'm really grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're the perfect fit, Joe. And it's my hope that people see this, they get a sense for who you are and maybe why you were selected, and they somehow realize that you would be a great asset for them as an outcome of you and I having a few minutes here on Zoom. Talk to me a little bit about like real estate itself. There's a lot of things you could be doing professionally down there in Miami, Florida. How and why did you become a realtor?
Sure, man. Well, I came back to Florida after I finished my military service in 2020, and seeing just what was going on for myself in terms of trying to find a place, trying to find somebody who would actually help me and advocate for me was kind of hard. I ended up finding my own place on my own. And with the background that I had in digital marketing and mortgages, it really just kind of made sense. I'm already an advocate. I'm somebody who looks out for my clients as it is, built a really nice Rolodex, and it made a lot of sense for me to get into the business at a time where people's integrity is being very strongly tested. And lots of agents are joining over here, and everyone's just chasing paychecks. And if you ask any of my clients, one of the big things that's extremely important to me is helping people in the way that they want to be helped, not necessarily trying to project or force the way that I do things onto them, but really asking them what they need, how they need it, and then getting the job done.
I love it, my man. Most people from the outside looking in think that all realtors make a ton of money and this job is easy. And the reality is nothing could be further from the truth. Most agents they don't find success in this business. And I think in a lot of ways, it's because of what you just said. And besides that, like this business is hard. It takes grit, it takes perseverance, it takes a level of empathy and compassion. What do you find rewarding about it? What keeps you going about this business? What fuels you by it?
Sure, man. Well, I'm in an office right now with almost 900 agents, and seeing the turnover that the office has just throughout the year and a half that I've been here has been crazy. And lots of people get into this business because they see flashy cars and deals and $1 million properties. But the reality is that to sell $1 million property takes a lot of mental fortitude, perseverance, and actual skill and willingness to learn, to be able to get out there and really see how to go through the process. And this notion that people have of, real estate agents make a ton of money. Well, yeah, that's true. Maybe 2 or 3% of them overall, but the average agent is living paycheck to paycheck and is trying to really just find another place to make a commission. So when you're thinking of it like that and you're following in that path, it becomes very hard to break out of that loop and just go from one to the next. So in coming into this business and realizing that, I realized that it's extremely important to have a process built out and a system in place to be able to go from the beginning until the end and do that every single time. I sold 30 houses last year, my first year in the business. And the only way I was really able to do that was by diligently following and committing to a process that I would follow no matter what and no matter the size of the client. And every single client of mine knows that whether it's a $400,000 house or it's a $4 million house, they're going to be treated the same exact way, just like I treat everybody else. They'll have all of the 5-star white glove service that I promise with the virtual assistants in the background. I call them Joey's Angels, people who help me out with all of my transactions. And seeing that, and then people being able to see the consistency of how I show up and how I deliver every single day. My office hours are from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day, Monday till Thursday, and then Friday for the Sabbath, we shut down a couple hours early. But the idea here is that people know that they can trust me. And we know that people only buy from people that they know, they like, and they trust. And being able to set up that circle where people are able to see that and they're able to see that consistently, it becomes a no-brainer, because when people are comparing other realtors and they Google me and they look me up, they see right away who I am, what my reviews are, what my clients are saying about me, and then they pick up the phone and call me.
So I want to circle back, and obviously the things you're saying, it's no surprise you're here being celebrated, and that discipline you describe is one of the challenges for the everyday agent. But talk to me a little bit about what fuels you emotionally. It's one thing to understand the process, and it's another thing to have the discipline to go do that and be consistent in that way. But to be able to do that over and over and over again and do it with a good energy and with a sense of satisfaction and joy is something completely different. So what provides you with that joy about this business?
Sure. Well, I myself, throughout the stages of me growing up, I've always felt like I was an underdog. I always felt like I was at a disadvantage. And it sounds kind of funny to hear someone like me, where I am right now in my life, saying that. But throughout this come up process, if you will, of starting from where I grew up, living on the beach, then ending up in the army, and then coming back over here, I really realized that there's a massive, massive amount of the market that feels like they're not being serviced properly, or they're being sidelined for bigger transactions, or that they're being sidelined because their credit score might not be exactly where it's supposed to be. So creating a system and a process where I'm able to give back to people who feel like they are underdogs themselves and like they aren't being serviced properly, and having the time to not be focused on 5 things at once, although sometimes I do have to do that, but overall to really focus on, hey, we're on the phone right now, you have my undivided attention. We're at a showing right now, you have my undivided attention. You need this, well, hey, don't necessarily know if I can be the person to help you out with that, but hey, I have somebody who can and who will do it just like me. And that's why it's so important in this business to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, because people who are like-minded feed off of each other. We all share the energy, and I'm a very energy intuitive person, and sometimes there are rooms that I'll walk into that I'll turn around and I'll walk right out, and that's just because the energy feels off. So fueling myself emotionally, obviously, number one, it comes with myself. I'm committed to the gym, I'm committed to my process, committed to logging my goals and my KPIs, and doing everything in a way that when I look back at those numbers, I go, whoa. I never could have seen that coming and never really planned for it coming, but having that system in place, even when I'm not necessarily feeling like I really want to get out of bed and go do it, I go do it anyways, because I know that there are people that are relying on me. And living with depression, it is very hard to get out there and to do that and to show up with a smile every single day. But at the same time, understanding that by me showing up, I am giving other people hope, and I'm giving other people the opportunity to pursue and to accomplish things that they never thought they'd be able to do, something that they could not do on their own. With my help, they can make it happen.
Dude, I think it's awesome. I found a testimonial of yours online, and there are a bunch of them. And I feel like this is an appropriate moment to just pause and listen to how a client described the experience you created for them, because I think it's important. Like, there's no greater validation than going through the process with somebody and them eager to talk about how awesome that process was. It says, after working with 4 different realtors and finally running into Joe Brikman for the modern day agent, I saw what a difference it truly makes when your realtor is sharp, responds quickly, and knows the system well. Joe helped me purchase my first home, and I had so many questions. He made sure he was available anytime to answer them and kept it professional. He walked me through every line I had to sign, initial, and made me feel real confident in my purchase. It was impressive to see how Joe knew how to catch the seller's eye with the contract and knew when to bargain. I'm really glad I went with Joe. He's honest, he's diligent, and best of all, he tried his hardest to get me the best deal. I'm very pleased with my purchase. 5 stars, Joe, all exclamation points. This is a testament to what you were just saying, right? Like, you've made a huge impact on that individual, and the way they look at you and the way they look at it, the industry is forever changed because of the service you're committed to. And congrats on the kind words.
Thank you. Yeah, I haven't read that, but that's awesome. Thank you for finding that, man, because I do make it a very big point to ask clients for reviews just for exactly that reason. Seeing the lots of people that are calling me these days and they go, Joe, I'm working with 1 or 2 or 3 other people, and all they're doing is they're setting me up on an automated notifications link, or they're setting me up on this, or they're not available for that, or they found out I only can get 300 or 400,000 and they don't have time for me anymore. And some of the biggest experiences that I've had for myself that have given me the most gratification are working with those lower income people. Obviously, if you want to be able to cash the big checks, you have to work with bigger deals. But the big mistake that a lot of newer agents make is that they chase the big deals instead of actually going to the deals that are calling them. and putting the time and the effort in to learn that process and go through it. Because I promise you that a lower end deal is going to have so many more hiccups than a bigger deal. Because the lower end deals, these people are literally spending every single dollar they have in their bank account to make their dream a reality. Versus sometimes on these multi-million dollar properties, it's really just a matter of, hey, do I want it? I'll buy it. Done deal. And those people seeing the reviews that you have from the lower end people, they're not looking to see what the dollar amount of the transaction was. They're not looking to see how much money you made. They don't care. They just want to know that when they call you and they ask you to take care of something that they need you to take care of, that you're able to get the job done and they do not have to stress and they don't have to worry. And being able to prove yourself with those people who have questions on every single thing and who need guidance on every single thing, because it's the first time in their life that they're looking at a 12-page real estate contract and they have no idea what it is. The only big words that stick out to them on the bottom of the contract is that this is a legally binding contract. And if you do not understand it, seek the advice of an attorney. So that sets everybody off, and everybody gets really nervous when that happens because the word attorney is a trigger word in America. But at the same time, being able to walk them through and say, listen, it's not as complicated as it sounds. This is what the process is. You have questions on any line, just tell me the line and I'll explain it to you. And even if it takes an hour or 2 or 3, it doesn't make a difference because we do not calculate our commissions based off of how many hours we put into the deal. Not only that, we're not even looking at the commission amount when we submit the deal. To me, I'm looking to make a dream come true. So it doesn't make a difference if I made $40 or $50 or $60,000 in a year or in a month or in a week. The focus is really how many people am I able to serve? And in 2020, I was able to serve over 100 clients. And I think that's awesome. It's an average of 1.2 clients, I think, every what is it, like every 3 days or something. Like it was nuts. And being able to, again, math was not my strong suit in high school, but the idea here is that being able to serve that amount of people, there's got to be a reason why there's that amount of people that are trying to find me, that are trying to get my help. And that to me is extremely validating, that there are so many people in this market who are extremely nervous and don't know where to go. And that is actually what gives me a lot of gratification and helps me keep going even on those days that I don't feel like it.
I think it's awesome. Man, everybody knows where Miami, Florida is. I don't know, there's a person alive that hasn't heard of Miami, Florida. What's it like to live there? What's it like to live, work, play in Miami Beach?
Yeah, man, Miami Beach is awesome. I love the place. I left here, I moved down here in 2015 originally. In 2017, I moved out to start another company. And as soon as I had an opportunity to come back, I came right back because there's something about the energy here that's just awesome. They say that if you can survive in Brooklyn, where I grew up, you can survive in Miami, because Miami is a little bit of a more relaxed, chilled, but also extremely high paced and busy and flashy in certain areas. So it's very easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of making things look as if. And if you want to fake it, Miami is the perfect place to fake it till you make it. But at the same time, when you turn around and you actually start delivering and you start picking up market share and you start getting into people's conversations, then you really actually have to start delivering and delivering and delivering. And I love being able to have the opportunity to go to some of my favorite restaurants to meet clients, go to some of my favorite gyms to meet clients, and then invite clients out to places that they never really even knew existed, because I love this area so much. So it's awesome living here. And you know what? 90% of the year we have sunshine. 10% of the year we have a little bit of rain. But you know what they say? If you don't like the weather in Miami, go inside and come back out in 5 minutes.
That's awesome. Look, before I let you go, Joe, I want to put you on the hot seat for a second. You've not been in the industry that long, but you've had a lot of success, a lot more than the average newer agent. Based on what you've learned, based on your experience, if you were to give one piece of advice to a peer in this business, what would that piece of advice be?
Well, without thinking, I would just say be consistent. Any promise that you make, any statement that you talk about, stand behind. Don't just say things because they look good on social media. Don't post things because it looks good online. Only talk about things that you firmly have studied and have knowledge about, that you can answer questions, and then show people what you're doing every single day. I've only been licensed for 15 months. In the last 15 months, not to talk numbers or anything, but I've done a very big amount of transactions. And, with doing that, the real way that I've been able to see, and the common theme that everybody says is, wow, Joe, you're consistent. I can predict what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Not that predictability is necessarily a good thing, but when it comes to client experiences, it always is, because knowing that they're going to get the same level of 5-star service, and that they're going to get all the answers to their questions, and if not, being humble enough to turn around and say, hang on one second, I have to ask my broker to make sure what the answer is. That is one of those things that people learn to respect. You don't have to know everything in this business, because this business is so vast. I've been dealing with buyers and sellers, but the 1 or 2 times that an attorney has called me because of a problem with, obviously not one of my deals, but with a deal that we were trying to get or something we were trying to sell, going through that process, I turn around and say, hey man, give me 1 second. I need to go and find out. And there's nothing wrong with that, because the consistency is what really will set you apart. People seeing you out there every single day. For me, it's the branded shirt, the branded hat, the branded car, all that stuff. People see that. And after a certain point in time, usually about 4 to 6 months, people start respecting that. And not only that, in a year from now, people who you'd never think would call you will pick up the phone and call you with something like, hey, Joe, I've been trying to work with some other people, but I don't think anybody can get it done like you. Can you help me out?
And I say this a lot lately, but the shortest distance between 2 people is trust.
Yes.
Right. And if you demonstrate through your consistent behavior and your actions that you're someone people can trust, I think there's a real appetite for that today, which is essentially what you've been saying for the last 10 minutes, right? Is there's a whole group of people out there that don't feel like they can trust anybody. And in you, they found a resource they can trust. And that gives them courage to move forward and get to do things maybe they thought they could never do. Joe, it's a privilege for me to get to spend a couple minutes with you, shining a light on you and celebrating you for your contribution to this industry. This industry is lucky to have you, and so is anybody that decides to use you as their client. And congrats again on the recognition, man. I hope you have nothing but huge success in the rest of your journey.
Amen, brother. From your mouth to God's ears. I really appreciate this opportunity, and it's really been an honor. Thank you for tracking my progress and seeing everything I do. And if there's any way that I can be of service to anybody, my number's on the bottom of the screen, or you can Google me and get in touch.
Good stuff. Take care of yourself.
Have a good day. I'll talk to you
too.
soon.